Hi! So it's May, and this month it's gonna be slightly different when it comes to like my TBR lineup because this month I am kind of like joining in with the Asian Readathon, and this Readathon is hosted by Cindy from Read with Cindy. To be honest, I'm kind of excited about this because I like to read books from different kinds of cultures, and for sure, the books that I have lined up for this particular 2020 Asian Readathon is gonna be quite different in terms of styles and genres, and therefore, the TBR that I will feature in this video are going to be books that I use to kind of like fulfill the prompts of this readathon. So without further ado, let's take a look at the prompt and see which books I chose. Okay, so the first challenge is really easy because it's very general. It's read any book by an Asian author. So I actually have a lot of books by Asian authors behind me as well. That one also. But for this particular challenge, I chose a book by Yukio Mishima, and this one is called Thirst for Love. Previously, I read one book by him, and that is called The Sailor Who Fell from Grace with the Sea. And I particularly like that because I really like the way it explores the idea of masculinity. This one, however, has a female protagonist, so I think things are going to be slightly different with this one. So basically, Etsuko, which is the character, just lost her husband, and so she moved into her father-in-law's house, where the old guy, I think, kind of gets creepy with her. At the same time, she falls in love with the servant in the house. So yeah, things are gonna be crazy with Etsuko in this book. So moving on to the next prompt, it is read a book featuring an Asian character or written by an Asian author who you can relate to. So this prompt is really interesting, and I just so happen to have a book that kind of fits it. I chose Certainty by Madeline Tien, and the reason why I chose this book is that it actually contains characters who are from East Malaysia, and I just happen to be from East Malaysia, and to be honest, it's kind of rare to see East Malaysians or Malaysians in general represented in media in general, and this book is actually written by a Canadian author, so I'm kind of interested to see what her take is on that. Though to be precise, the character that I refer to in this book, even though they come from like East Malaysia, they actually come from a different part of East Malaysia than I am, but still I've been to that part. It's like Sabah, so I've been there before, and I'm interested to see how they are portrayed in this book. So yeah, exciting. Third prompt would be read a book featuring an Asian character or written by an Asian author who is different from you. This one can go many ways. So I have many choices, but I just chose this book because I really wanted to read it. It's UFO in Her Eyes by Xiaolu Guo. Obviously, the characters are different from me because they are Chinese, most of them, and the author is different from me because she's Chinese as well. I'm not Chinese, so it's as simple as that. So this book is about a woman who saw something that looks like a UFO at her village. So that kind of attracts the attentions of the National Security and Intelligence Agency of her country, and pretty much I guess things got crazy after that. Last but not least, it's the fourth one, read a book recommended by an Asian. So I live in Malaysia, so I don't have any shortage of Asian friends. So it just so happened that this year I am interested to read more of Malaysian books, so I asked one of my friends who is more familiar with Malaysian literature than I am on recommendations on which book that I should read, and she actually like gave me a few recommendations in terms of book titles and authors. And one of the authors that she gave me was, Malaysian author Faisal Tehrani. And I purchased this book recently. It's called The Professor. This book is originally written in Malay and it's translated into English. Faisal Tehrani is actually like one of the more modern writers in Malaysia, and his works tend to lean more towards the controversial side of things. Quite a few of his books have been like banned, so I can't really like easily buy those books here. But this one is one of his more recent ones. It also tackles something a little bit touchy here. This one talks a little bit about LGBT issue, and so I'm really curious to see how he handles that subject, especially since this is my first time reading his work. And since this is also like my first time reading this book this year, because I want to read more Malaysian books, I also want to kind of like mention it right here that I am going to do like a short video series on the Malaysian books that I am going to read this year. Basically, I have plans like exploring more Malaysian books, and I am going to read them and then make videos about them. Just see how the Malaysian literature scene is kind of like. And at the same time, if you are interested in more of Malaysian literature, like I am, because I literally do not have a lot of background in this. I don't have much knowledge on which books are great, so you are welcome to just follow me in my little journey into exploring more of the Malaysian literature scene. The books that I am going to read in this little project of mine is not going to be super representative of all things that constitutes Malaysian literature scene, nor it is going to be an exhaustive list of what you should read if you are interested in Malaysian literature. But I think it would probably give a nice little introduction if you would want to go more into that. I have some authors and books in mind. I actually have like an assortment of indie and mainstream books, also a mix of books written originally in English or Malay, and I'm going to have like, I don't know, just 8 books for now, so obviously that's not a long list, but it's just something that I wanted to do for fun this year, and I want to see if the Malaysian literature is something that is going to interest me or not. So that's it for this video, kind of like my little announcement of my TBR on what I'll be reading for the 2020 Asian Readathon, and I am excited about all of these things as usual. And again, as usual, when it comes to TBR, I might or might not finish all of those books, but who cares? It depends on my time. It depends on what happens in real life. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. In any case, if you enjoy this video, feel free to like it. If you want to see more of my content, just subscribe, and I'll see you again next time in another video. And until then, bye bye.